The insanity of 2025. F1 salaries. Who's getting paid and who's getting played? Formula One has always been a world of excess. Excess speed, excess glamour, and excess money. But in 2025, the salaries have hit a level of insanity that makes even Hollywood contracts look modest. Max Verstappen is raking in £65 million, more than some F1 teams' entire budgets, while rookies are earning as little as £500,000. This isn't just about paychecks. It's about power dynamics, politics, and pressure. It's about who's calling the shots in the paddock, who has the leverage in contract negotiations, and who's fighting for their seat every single race weekend. How did we get here? What does this say about the state of Formula One? And how long can these astronomical salaries last? Let's dive into the madness of F1 salaries in 2025 and uncover the stories behind the numbers. 1. Max Verstappen's record-breaking payday, £65 million to be king of the grid. Max Verstappen isn't just the highest paid driver in Formula One history, he's a global phenomenon. His £65 million salary isn't just a paycheck, it's a statement. It says, I'm the best and Red Bull knows it. How did Max get here? Let's rewind to 2016. Verstappen was a teenage prodigy at Toro Rosso, earning around £500,000. Peanuts by today's standards. But after that legendary win in Spain in his first race for Red Bull, everything changed. He became the hottest property in F1 and his salary skyrocketed to £10 million by 2019. Then came the real game changer, 2021. The controversial showdown with Lewis Hamilton in Abu Dhabi made Verstappen the most polarizing figure in the sport. But love him or hate him, he delivered Red Bull their first championship since Vettel. His reward? A record-breaking contract, locking him in at Red Bull until 2028 with annual salaries between £50 and £65 million. Why so much money? This isn't just about lap times. Verstappen is more than a driver, he's a brand. He's the face of Red Bull, a national hero in the Netherlands, and the star of the new F1 generation. Red Bull isn't just paying for race wins, they're paying for global influence, marketability, and the kind of fan loyalty that turns Zandvoort into a sea of orange. But this comes at a cost. Immense pressure. Anything less than total domination is a failure. If Red Bull falters, that £65 million salary will look like an albatross around their necks. Just look at Sebastian Vettel's final years at Ferrari, where his massive salary became a burden once the wins stopped coming. Max is on top now, but can he stay there? With £65 million on the line, the stakes have never been higher. Lewis Hamilton at Ferrari, £60 million and a point to prove. Lewis Hamilton in Ferrari Red. It sounds like a fantasy, but in 2025, it's a reality, and he's getting paid £60 million to make it happen. This isn't just about money, it's about legacy, redemption, and rewriting history. Why Ferrari and why now? After years of domination with Mercedes, Hamilton shocked the world by switching to Ferrari, the most iconic team in Formula One history. But this wasn't just about chasing another title, it was about cementing his place as the greatest of all time. Winning with Ferrari means more than just a trophy. It's a legendary achievement, one that would tie him to Michael Schumacher's legacy and silence any doubts about his greatness. And don't think for a second that isn't on Hamilton's mind. He wants that 8th world title, and he wants to do it in red. The price of legacy. But Ferrari is no easy ride. Just ask Fernando Alonso and Sebastian Vettel, both world champions who left the team frustrated and defeated. Ferrari is a political minefield, plagued by internal conflicts, strategy failures, and the crushing weight of the Tifosi's expectations. Hamilton isn't just fighting on the track, he's fighting Ferrari's history. The Scuderia hasn't produced a championship-winning car since 2007, and their political chaos has destroyed legends before. Can Hamilton survive the circus, or will Ferrari break him like it did his predecessors? And then there's Charles Leclerc, Ferrari's golden boy, the fan favorite, and the man who thought he was the team leader, until Hamilton showed up. With £60 million at stake, Hamilton isn't just fighting for wins, he's fighting to conquer Ferrari itself. 3. Charles Leclerc, £34 million and playing second fiddle. Charles Leclerc was supposed to be Ferrari's chosen one. He was the heir apparent, the driver who would lead Ferrari into a new era of glory. But then, Lewis Hamilton walked through the door, and suddenly, Leclerc went from number 1 to number 2. From hero to supporting act, Leclerc's £34 million salary makes him the 3rd highest paid driver on the grid, but he's now the 2nd highest paid driver on his own team. Imagine the frustration, imagine the humiliation. He's not just fighting Hamilton on track, he's fighting Ferrari's history of favouring one driver. Civil war in Maranello. If Ferrari backs Hamilton for the title, Leclerc could lose more than races. He could lose his dream. If that happens, expect fireworks. But Leclerc isn't just going to roll over. He could leave Ferrari, triggering a driver market earthquake that reshapes the grid. £34 million might be a lot, but it's nothing compared to the cost of a team divided. 4. The midfield millionaires, overpaid or smart investments. The midfield salary situation in 2025 is baffling. These drivers are raking in millions while fighting for 5th place, or worse. High pay, low returns. Lando Norris at McLaren, £20 million. Lando Norris is pocketing £20 million at McLaren, making him one of the highest paid drivers on the grid. But he's earning more than George Russell at Mercedes, a team with better championship prospects. McLaren is betting on potential over performance. Norris is talented, charismatic, and incredibly marketable. But McLaren's struggles mean he's fighting in the midfield, not for wins. Pressure to justify the salary. With a £20 million paycheck, Norris can't just be good. He has to be exceptional. McLaren expects him to lead them back to the front of the grid. But then there's his teammate, Oscar Piastri, who's showing incredible pace as a rookie. If Piastri outshines Norris, McLaren's £20 million investment could look like a massive overpayment. Fernando Alonso at Aston Martin, £20 million. At 44 years old, Fernando Alonso is still earning £20 million. He's racing for a team that isn't quite ready to challenge for championships, but they're paying for his experience and his ability to extract every ounce of performance from the car. The gamble is on Alonso's consistency. Can he keep up the pace at 44? One bad season, and his salary could look like an emotional decision rather than a strategic one. George Russell at Mercedes, £15 million. George Russell is expected to be the future of Mercedes, yet he's earning £15 million, less than Norris and Alonso. Why? Mercedes plays the long game. Russell is young, loyal, and hungry to prove himself. They don't need to overpay because he sees Mercedes as his best shot at a title. But if the team doesn't deliver a championship-winning car soon, Russell could start looking elsewhere. Carlos Sainz at Williams, £10 million. Carlos Sainz made a shocking move to Williams Racing for £10 million after leaving Ferrari. It's a gamble, a career reset. Sainz is betting on Williams' resurgence with new investment and strategic changes. If Williams climbs the grid, he'll be the hero who led the revolution. If they don't, his career could be at risk. It's a risky move, but at £10 million, it's a calculated risk. If it pays off, his stock will skyrocket. If it doesn't, he could fade into midfield obscurity. The midfield paradox: high pay, low returns. These midfield drivers are earning millions while fighting for 5th, 6th, or even 10th place. They're not in championship battles. They're fighting for scraps. In 2025, midfield teams are betting big on experience, brand value, and potential. But it's a high-risk gamble. If McLaren or Aston Martin underperform, these contracts will look like financial disasters. And history shows how quickly these deals can go wrong. Just look at Daniel Ricciardo's £25 million contract at McLaren, a costly disaster that ended with McLaren paying him £15 million just to leave. Is it worth it? The real question is, are these drivers worth the investment? If McLaren's upgrades flop, Norris's £20 million salary will look like a huge mistake. If Alonso's age catches up with him, Aston Martin's gamble will backfire. And if Russell gets impatient, Mercedes will have to pay big money to keep him. The midfield salaries are a high-stakes game of poker. If these drivers don't deliver, their contracts could go down as some of the worst deals in F1 history. 5. The underpaid rookies. Exploitation or opportunity? While the top drivers are swimming in cash, the rookies are scraping by, and no one has it tougher than Liam Lawson at Red Bull Racing. He's earning just £1 million racing alongside Max Verstappen, who's pocketing a staggering £65 million, 65 times more. Liam Lawson conundrum, talent for pennies. Liam Lawson isn't just any rookie, he's a rising star in the Red Bull driver program, showing incredible pace in Formula 2 and even scoring points when he stood in for Daniel Ricciardo in 2024. Yet despite his potential, Red Bull is paying him peanuts. Why is Lawson paid so little? It's all about power dynamics. Red Bull knows they have leverage. They control his career, and with other promising drivers waiting in the wings, Lawson has no choice but to accept the deal. Red Bull is notorious for its perform or perish mentality. Just ask Daniel Kvyat, Pierre Gasly, or Alex Albon. All were unceremoniously dropped when they didn't deliver. Lawson is merely the latest in this ruthless system. The Verstappen contrast. £65 million for the Golden Boy. Meanwhile, Max Verstappen is earning £65 million, a highest salary in F1 history, and the disparity is staggering. Verstappen makes Lawson's yearly salary in under a week. For every lap they race together, Verstappen earns £35,000, while Lawson earns around £540. Verstappen's bonuses alone could exceed Lawson's entire salary. Lawson is literally fighting Verstappen on track, while being paid like a second-tier driver. It's David versus Goliath, but with Lawson fighting with one hand tied behind his back. A bad deal with long-term risks. This isn't just unfair, it's bad business. Red Bull is risking demotivating a potential future champion. If Lawson feels undervalued, he could jump ship to another team, taking his talent and experience with him. Red Bull's favoritism is no secret. Verstappen gets the best engineers, the best upgrades, and the lion's share of attention. Lawson is fighting against Verstappen and the system itself. History repeats itself. This isn't the first time Red Bull has underpaid a talented rookie. Sebastian Vettel started at Toro Rosso with a meager salary before becoming a four-time champion. Daniel Ricciardo was underpaid until he outperformed Vettel. Pierre Gasly and Alex Albon were paid peanuts before being dropped. Red Bull uses rookies as pawns, and Liam Lawson is just the latest example. They know they have the upper hand, and they exploit it mercilessly. F1 salary madness in 2025. The 2025 F1 salary scene is pure chaos. Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton are earning fortunes that dwarf entire team budgets, while rookies like Liam Lawson are scraping by on a fraction of that. Midfield drivers like Lando Norris and Fernando Alonso are making millions just to fight for fifth place. It's not just about money, it's about power and survival in the most ruthless sport on earth. But how long can this madness continue? With cost caps tightening and competition increasing, these sky-high salaries might not last forever. What do you think? Are these salaries justified, or is F1 out of control? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to Formula One Dramas for more behind-the-scenes chaos from the world's most dramatic sport.